Ethan Cole lived in a small town surrounded by hills and forests. His home was modest, a simple house with a small observatory in the backyard. Every night, he climbed the ladder into the dome, switched on his telescope, and scanned the skies. Stars fascinated him, but what he loved most were signals, small blips of sound that came from space. Sometimes they were random. Sometimes he thought they were patterns. Most nights, it was just static. But tonight felt different. He had been sitting in the dark for hours, adjusting the frequency of his homemade receiver, when a sharp tone cut through the static. Ethan frowned, leaning closer. The tone was rhythmic, almost like it was trying to speak. He tapped his notebook, scribbling numbers and letters as fast as he could. The signal repeated over and over, and then, in a way that sent shivers down his spine, it seemed to form a pattern. A pattern that almost sounded like his name, Ethan, he whispered, laughing nervously at his own imagination. But the signal didn't stop. It grew stronger, almost urgent. Ethan's heart raced. Something about it was alive. Something wanted him to hear it. He stepped outside the observatory, looking up at the sky. The night was clear, stars glittering like diamonds. The moon hung low, casting silver light over the forest. And then he saw it, a faint blue glow in the distance, hovering just above the treetops. At first he thought it was a plane or a helicopter, but the light was too steady, too strange. It moved slowly, silently, like it was floating. Ethan's curiosity won over fear. He grabbed his flashlight and ran toward the forest, following the glow. As he got closer, the light brightened, bathing the trees in an otherworldly blue. A soft hum filled the air, vibrating through the ground beneath his feet. He stopped, holding his breath, and then he saw her. She stepped out from the glow. Tall and slender, with skin that shimmered faintly, like moonlight on water. Her hair flowed around her shoulders in silver waves, and her eyes, Ethan had never seen anything like them. They were bright, glowing silver, full of intelligence, and something else he couldn't name. Fear rose in him, but so did wonder. He had dreamed of meeting someone not from Earth, and now, here she was. Standing in the forest before him, Ethan's mouth opened. But no sound came out. She tilted her head slightly, and her lips moved. "Ethan Cole," she said, her voice calm and soft, almost musical. "I need you." Ethan's knees weakened. His mind tried to make sense of the words. "I what?" He stammered, "Need me." "For what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached out a hand. Her fingers glowed faintly, and the light spread across the clearing. Surrounding Ethan in warmth and energy, he could feel deep in his bones. Before he could move, the ground beneath him shifted. Gravity changed. He felt himself lifted, pulled upward gently, but firmly. He struggled, shouting her name. But his voice was swallowed by the hum of the glowing light. The trees blurred beneath him, and the sky above seemed to fold like water. Then, just as suddenly as it began, he was inside the ship. Ethan looked around. The interior was unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth walls glowed softly, covered with symbols that pulsed with energy. The corridors curved impossibly, yet he felt no dizziness. The air smelled faintly sweet, like flowers he couldn't name. The hum of the ship was everywhere, but it wasn't loud. It was like a heartbeat, steady and reassuring. The alien girl, Lyra, as he would later learn, led him down the corridor. She didn't speak at first. She seemed patient, as if she understood his confusion and fear. Ethan's mind raced. This can't be real. I must be dreaming. Or insane. Finally, she stopped in front of a large window, and Ethan gasped. Outside, the stars stretched into streams of light. The earth was a distant blue and green marble, shrinking as the ship accelerated into the darkness of space. He felt a mix of awe and panic. Lyra spoke again, her voice steady. "You are safe, Ethan. I mean no harm." Ethan swallowed hard, trying to calm his racing heart. "Then why did you take me? Why? Why me?" She looked at him, her eyes serious and sad. "Your world. Your people. Have a gift we lost long ago. My planet is dying. I need your help." Ethan shook his head. "Help? How can I? I fix engines and look at stars. I'm not special." Lyra's expression softened. "Humans are special, Ethan. Not because of strength or power or knowledge alone. You have imagination, intuition, courage. These are rare. These are needed to save my world." He stared at her, confused. The idea seemed impossible. A dying planet, needing a human to save it. It sounded like a story, a dream, or a nightmare. And yet, he felt something inside stir. Could it be true? Could something in me really matter in the vastness of space? The ship moved silently through the void. Ethan followed Lyra to a room filled with strange devices. She showed him holographic images of her home planet Aurelia. Beautiful cities floating above oceans that now shimmered with dying light. He saw glimpses of alien people, elegant and precise, their expressions almost emotionless. The images of the cities fading into darkness struck him in the chest. "They are dying," Lyra said softly. "Without the energy humans can provide, there will be nothing left. I cannot do this alone. That is why I needed you." Ethan's mind spun. He had always imagined humans exploring space, encountering strange civilizations, making a difference in the universe. And now, here he was, part of that imagination. But fear still gripped him. "I don't know if I can," he whispered. "I don't even know where to start." Lyra reached out, placing her glowing hand over his. "You will not be alone. I will guide you. And your mind, your creativity. It is what my people have lost. That is what will save Aurelia." Ethan felt a strange warmth spread through him, not just from her touch, but from something deeper, something that made him feel important. For the first time in his life, he realized that maybe he could be more than he ever imagined. The ship hummed around them as it moved through space. Ethan sat by the large window, staring at the stars streaking past. He felt small, yet powerful. He felt scared, yet ready. Hours passed, or perhaps only minutes. Time felt different here. Lyra didn't speak, and Ethan didn't need her to. Together, they were leaving the only home he had ever known. Together they were going toward a future he could not yet understand, and somewhere deep inside, part of him whispered, "This is where it begins." Ethan awoke to a soft, pale light filling the room. The ship was silent, except for the faint hum of energy that seemed to pulse through its walls like a heartbeat. He sat up slowly, his mind spinning. The last thing he remembered was being pulled into the ship by that glowing hand, the earth shrinking below him. Now he was lying on a smooth, bed-like surface. In a room that seemed impossibly big and clean, Lyra stood nearby, watching him. Her silver hair shimmered under the soft light, and her glowing eyes softened as they met his. She did not speak at first, simply observing him as he blinked and tried to make sense of his new surroundings. Where am I?" Ethan finally asked, his voice hoarse. He swung his legs over the edge of the bed, feeling the unfamiliar sensation of the floor beneath him, smooth, slightly warm, and faintly vibrating. "You are aboard my ship," Lyra said, her voice calm and gentle. "I brought you here because your world has a gift that my people need. My home, Aurelia, is dying. I cannot save it alone." Ethan frowned. "Dying? What do you mean? Planets don't just die." "They do," Lyra replied. "Aurelia's energy is being consumed by a force we do not understand. Our technology, our knowledge, our entire civilization cannot stop it. That is why I needed you. Humans have a gift my people lost long ago, something that can restore balance." Ethan shook his head, feeling overwhelmed. I'm just a human. I fix machines. I tinker with radios. I don't know anything about saving planets." Lyra stepped closer, her glowing hand gently resting near his arm. "It is not knowledge or power that is needed. It is creativity, intuition, and courage. Humans have this in abundance. That is why I needed you." Ethan stared at her, still trying to process her words. His mind felt like it was spinning in a whirlwind. Creativity? Intuition? Courage? Me. He thought back to his quiet life, working in his small garage, staring at the stars. Could that life, his small human life, really matter in the vastness of space? Seeing the doubt in his eyes, Lyra smiled faintly. I know this is difficult to believe, but it is true. I did not come here to harm you. I came because your people, your humanity, can do what my people cannot. You can save Aurelia. Ethan took a deep breath. And if I say no? Lyra's smile faded. Her eyes softened, but a hint of worry appeared. If you refuse, the planet may die. Millions of lives will be lost. I cannot do this alone. That is why I needed you. Ethan's mind raced. He had always dreamed of adventure, of leaving his small town and seeing the universe. And now here it was, an alien ship, a dying planet, and a request that only he could fulfill. Yet fear gripped him. He was only one person. How could he possibly make a difference? Lyra seemed to sense his thoughts. I will not force you, she said. But understand this. This is not about strength. It is about choice. And if you choose to help, you will not be alone. I will guide you. Ethan nodded slowly, the fear in his chest slowly mixing with something else. Curiosity, excitement, and a strange sense of purpose. He took a deep breath. All right, he said finally. I'll try. I want to help. Lyra's eyes brightened, and a soft glow surrounded her. Thank you, Ethan. You do not know how much this means. She led him to a large viewing chamber where the walls were transparent, showing the vastness of space outside. Ethan could see stars stretching into the distance, galaxies spinning silently in the darkness, and nebulae glowing in colors he had never imagined. The beauty of it took his breath away. This is amazing, he whispered. I never thought I'd see. All of this, Lyra nodded. It is beautiful, but beauty is fragile. Aurelia was once a world like this, full of life, color, and energy. Now it fades. I cannot let it die. Ethan followed her down the corridor, his eyes scanning everything. The ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls glowed with symbols that seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. The corridors curved in ways that defied normal architecture, yet he felt no dizziness. It was as if the ship itself was alive, guiding him, welcoming him. Lyra stopped before a large console filled with holographic images. She gestured to one of them, and a three-dimensional projection of Aurelia appeared. The planet was breathtaking, with floating cities, glowing oceans, and skies streaked with colors Ethan could not name. But then he noticed the cracks, areas of darkness spreading across the surface, cities fading into shadows, energy streams breaking apart. This is your world? Ethan asked, his voice trembling. Yes, Lyra said softly, and it is dying. My people have tried everything, but we cannot stop it. That is why I needed you. Humans have something we lost, the spark of creativity and courage. It is rare in the universe, but it exists in every human. Your energy patterns, your DNA. It has a unique resonance that can restore what is lost. Ethan's mind reeled. You're saying, I can save a planet? Lyra nodded. Yes, but it will not be easy. You will need to trust yourself, to act beyond logic and formulas. To use the qualities humans are known for, imagination, courage, hope. That is what will save Aurelia. Ethan looked at her, then back at the holographic planet. A mix of fear and determination surged inside him. He had never felt so small, and yet so important. His heart pounded with a strange excitement, the thrill of adventure, the weight of responsibility, and the wonder of possibility. Lyra studied him, her expression unreadable. I know this is overwhelming. You have many questions, and you will have time to learn. But for now, understand this. Your choice matters. Your actions matter. The universe is wider than you know, Ethan, and your place in it is greater than you imagine. Ethan nodded again. I want to try. I want to help. Lyra's glow brightened. Then we will begin soon. First, you must understand the ways of this ship and the journey ahead. There will be challenges, cosmic storms, energy disruptions, and dangers we cannot yet predict. But together, we can face them. For hours, Ethan explored the ship under Lyra's guidance. He learned how to move in low-gravity corridors, how to interact with holographic controls, and how to sense the ship's energy flow. Lyra explained the importance of intuition, of trusting his instincts, and of thinking in ways her people could no longer imagine. Despite his fear, Ethan felt a growing confidence. He realized that humans, even small, ordinary humans like him, had a gift, the ability to think beyond rigid rules, to imagine possibilities, and to act with courage. He had always believed he was ordinary. Now he understood that he might be extraordinary in ways he never dreamed. As the ship approached the edge of a nearby star system, Lyra led him to a viewing platform. Outside, the stars stretched into streaks of light as the ship accelerated. Ethan pressed his hands against the glass, mesmerized. "Do you see?" Lyra asked. "The universe is vast, filled with challenges and wonders. Yet even in this immensity, a single human can make a difference. That is why I needed you." Ethan swallowed hard. I think I understand." She smiled, a soft, warm glow radiating from her. "Good rest now, Ethan. Tomorrow we begin the journey to Aurelia. And remember, courage, hope, and imagination are your greatest weapons. You are more capable than you realize." Ethan lay down again, staring at the stars streaking past. His mind was full of questions, but for the first time he felt a deep sense of purpose. He was no longer just a mechanic from a small town. He was part of something larger, something that could change the fate of an entire world. As he drifted into sleep, he thought of Earth, of the forests and hills he loved, and of the adventure ahead. He did not know what challenges awaited him on Aurelia, or whether he would succeed. But he knew one thing for certain. His life had changed forever, and for the first time. He truly understood the meaning of being needed. Somewhere in the depths of space, the ship hummed like a living being, carrying both human and alien, hope and fear, toward a planet in need of salvation. And for Ethan Cole, the adventure of a lifetime had only just begun. The ship hummed softly as it glided through the endless darkness of space. Ethan Cole sat at a console, staring at the endless stars stretching in every direction. He still could not believe that he was here aboard an alien ship, leaving Earth behind and heading toward a distant planet that depended on him. Yet, despite the fear, there was a thrill in his chest. He was part of something far bigger than he had ever imagined. Lyra moved beside him. Her glowing silver eyes focused on the holographic star map projected from the console. "We are approaching a series of tunnels in space called the light paths," she explained. "They allow faster travel across the galaxy, but they are unstable. Only ships guided by intuition can navigate them safely." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Intuition? You mean like guessing?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Not guessing. Humans think differently from my people. We calculate every possibility, every probability, but sometimes what is needed cannot be predicted. That is where intuition, creativity, and courage come in. That is why I brought you." Ethan's stomach tightened. He had never piloted a starship before. He had repaired machines, yes, but flying through unstable cosmic tunnels with a dying planet waiting for him? The thought made his hands sweat. Yet, deep inside, a spark of determination flickered. He could do this. He had to. The ship approached the first light path. Outside, stars bent and shimmered, twisting into glowing ribbons of light. The tunnel stretched like a silver river through space. Lyra gestured for Ethan to stand beside her at the console. "Watch and learn," she said, her voice calm but urgent. Ethan studied the holographic controls. Symbols moved and changed, lights flickering in rhythm with the ship's hum. Lyra's fingers moved gracefully across the console, adjusting energy flows and stabilizing fields. "You see, it is not just calculation," she said. "It is feeling the flow, sensing the rhythm of space. Humans can do this naturally." Ethan nodded, trying to absorb everything. His heart pounded as the ship entered the tunnel. Stars stretched into long streaks of light, and the walls of the light paths shimmered with colors he could not name. A sudden jolt threw him slightly off balance. "Cosmic turbulence," Lyra said, steadying herself. "The path is reacting to gravitational waves. We must adjust." Ethan's hands moved over the controls almost automatically, guided by instinct. He felt the energy around him, the hum of the ship, and somehow knew which levers and panels to adjust. The ship shuddered, then glided smoothly again. Lyra glanced at him, surprise and admiration in her eyes. "You are exceptional," she said softly. "Even I did not expect humans to adapt so quickly." Ethan swallowed. I don't know what I did. I just felt it." Lyra smiled. "Exactly. That is what I mean. Humans can feel the patterns of life, of energy, in ways my people have forgotten. That is why you are needed." For the next several hours, Ethan guided the ship through the light paths. Each tunnel was more challenging than the last. Gravitational waves that twisted the ship, streams of cosmic energy that threatened to overload the engines, and strange voids where light disappeared entirely. Each time, Ethan relied on instinct, creativity, and courage to adjust the controls. Every time, Lyra watched with growing awe. "You are learning fast," she said finally, as the ship exited the last tunnel. Beyond it, space opened into a vast region filled with bright nebulae and distant stars. Ethan felt a rush of pride mixed with relief. "We made it," he whispered. Lyra nodded. "Yes, but the hardest part is yet to come. Aurelia is nearby, but we must pass through the dark belt, a region filled with unstable energy storms. Many ships have been lost there." Ethan's heart sank. "Lost, you mean? Destroyed?" Lyra's expression was serious. "Yes, but we have a chance. Your instincts and creativity give us that chance. Are you ready?" Ethan took a deep breath, gripping the console. "I'm ready. Let's do it." The ship plunged into the dark belt. Outside, energy storms raged, twisting space itself into chaotic shapes. Lightning-like currents of blue and purple crackled through the void. The ship shook violently, and alarms rang. Ethan's hands moved over the controls, following patterns he could feel rather than see. He adjusted energy shields, recalibrated engines, and guided the ship through narrow gaps in the storm. Lyra's eyes widened in astonishment. "You are incredible. Humans truly are special." Ethan gritted his teeth as another surge hit the ship. He imagined the storm as a river, the ship as a leaf floating through it. He moved with the rhythm, trusting his instincts, and slowly the chaos began to smooth. They navigated through the worst of it, emerging into calmer space. Ethan exhaled deeply, his body trembling from adrenaline. We made it," he said. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, her glow warm and reassuring. "Yes, and you did it. You trusted yourself. That is what I hoped for. That is why I needed you." For the next several days, the ship moved steadily toward Aurelia. Ethan and Lyra spent hours studying the planet's energy patterns and its ancient systems. Ethan began to understand more about the Aurelian technology, strange machines that used energy flows to sustain life. Cities floating on light and cores that powered the entire planet. One day, Lyra led Ethan to a small lab. "Here," she said, showing him a device that looked like a cross between a scanner and a glowing crystal. "This device will connect you to Aurelia's energy. It is delicate and powerful. Your DNA carries unique resonance. When connected, it will begin to restore energy to the planet." Ethan stared at it, both fascinated and nervous. "And I won't be hurt." Lyra shook her head. "It will be safe if you follow instructions. But the process requires focus, creativity, and courage. My people cannot do what humans can. That is why you are here." Over the next few days, Ethan practiced using the device, learning to feel the energy flows, to adjust the resonance, and to imagine solutions beyond what was logical or predictable. Lyra guided him, encouraging him to trust his instincts. Each time, Ethan grew more confident, more aware of the power within him. He realized that humans, even ordinary humans like him, had a gift. It was not strength or speed or advanced technology. It was imagination, intuition, and courage, the ability to solve problems that logic alone could not. And that gift, he understood, was rare in the universe. As they approached Aurelia, Ethan gazed at the planet below. It was beautiful and terrifying. Floating cities shimmered faintly, some alive with light, others dark and fading. The oceans glowed with streaks of dying energy, and the skies were streaked with strange colors, signs of instability. Lyra stood beside him. "This is the moment," she said softly. "Soon you will connect to the planet. It will be risky, but you are ready. Your people, your humanity, is what Aurelia needs." Ethan felt a mix of fear and determination. He had traveled across galaxies, faced cosmic storms, and learned to trust instincts that he never knew he had. Now, the real challenge awaited, a challenge that would test everything about him and his species. He nodded, looking at Lyra. "I'm ready." "Let's save your world," Lyra smiled, her glow brighter than ever. "Together, we will. And when this is done, Aurelia will understand the greatest truth. Humans are extraordinary. Not because of power or technology, but because of heart, courage, and imagination." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the hum of the ship and the pulse of the universe around him. He was still just one human, but now he understood that one human could make a difference across galaxies. That thought filled him with hope, strength, and determination. As Aurelia grew larger in the viewing window, he prepared himself. The planet was dying, but it was not beyond saving. And with Lyra by his side, he was ready to take the first step toward restoring an entire world using the most powerful force in the universe. Human creativity and courage. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt the full weight and wonder of being human. And in that moment, he realized that the universe had been waiting for humans all along. The first glimpse of Aurelia from the ship's window took Ethan's breath away. The planet was breathtaking and heartbreaking at the same time. Towering cities floated above glowing oceans, their surfaces shimmering with faint energy. But large swaths of the land were dark, lifeless, as if shadows were consuming the planet itself. Flickers of light sparked across the horizon where entire cities were beginning to fade. Ethan swallowed hard. "It's beautiful. And dying," he whispered. Lyra nodded, her silver eyes glowing softly. "Yes, every moment counts. If we do not act quickly, much of Aurelia will be lost forever. That is why you are here, Ethan. Your people's gift is the only hope left." The ship descended slowly, hovering above one of the larger cities. Ethan could see beings moving below, tall, elegant, with smooth skin that glowed faintly. Their expressions were calm, almost emotionless, but their eyes betrayed fear. Lyra led him down a corridor that opened into a bright chamber filled with beings who seemed to float rather than walk. The Aurelian Council observed them silently. Each member radiated intelligence, but there was no warmth in their expressions. Lyra stepped forward. "Honored Council, I have brought him here," she said. Gesturing to Ethan, "He carries the gift that can save our world." One of the council members, tall and angular, spoke in a voice that echoed like a soft chime. "You claim that this human has power to restore Aurelia? How can one being from a primitive planet affect our systems?" Lyra's eyes met theirs. "It is not power as you understand it. Humans possess imagination, creativity, and courage, qualities your people have lost. His DNA resonates with energy that can restore balance." The council murmured among themselves, their voices like soft wind over glass. Ethan felt their eyes on him, a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. He shifted nervously, realizing that the fate of an entire civilization rested on him. One council member floated closer. "He is untested. We cannot allow mistakes. The process may be dangerous to him." Lyra placed a reassuring hand on Ethan's shoulder. "I will guide him. He will succeed. If he does not, Aurelia may be lost, and our people may disappear forever." Ethan nodded, swallowing his fear. He had come this far. He had navigated cosmic tunnels, survived energy storms, and learned to trust his instincts. He would not fail now. "I'll do it," he said firmly. "I'll try to save your world." The council observed him for a moment longer before nodding in quiet agreement. "Very well," one said. "Proceed." Lyra led Ethan to a chamber at the center of the city. A massive energy core hovered above the ground, pulsing faintly like a dying heartbeat. Ethan could feel the raw power emanating from it, unstable yet full of potential. He approached cautiously, marveling at its beauty and trembling at its size. "This is the heart of Aurelia," Lyra explained. "If we can stabilize its energy, the planet will survive. You will connect to it through the resonance device. Your energy patterns will merge with its flow, and with your guidance, balance can be restored." Ethan's hands shook slightly as he studied the device. He had practiced on the ship, but this was different, real, immediate, and high stakes. "What if I fail?" he asked quietly. Lyra's eyes softened. "Then we must try again. But I believe in you, Ethan. Your humanity is exactly what Aurelia needs. Trust yourself, and trust the gift your people carry." Taking a deep breath, Ethan placed his hands on the device. Light surged through him, connecting him to the planet. The city around him blurred as he felt energy flowing through every fiber of his being. He saw visions, the floating cities, the fading oceans, the entire planet in motion. Energy pulses, streams of power, threads of life, all converging, all fragile. He closed his eyes and focused. His mind reached out, searching for patterns, connections, and possibilities. He imagined the energy flowing smoothly, the cities stabilizing, the oceans glowing with vibrant light. He felt fear, doubt, and exhaustion, but he also felt something stronger: hope, determination, and courage. Lyra stood beside him, guiding him with gentle words. "Feel it. Don't think. Let your instincts guide the flow. You are human. That is your greatest strength." Hours passed as Ethan worked with the energy core. The connection was exhausting, but he refused to give up. He visualized balance and harmony, adjusting the flow of energy through the device, correcting instability and strengthening weak areas. Little by little, he felt the planet responding. Cities flickered back to life, oceans glowed more brightly, and the atmosphere stabilized. The council watched silently, their expressions slowly changing. Where once there was skepticism, there was awe. Where there was fear, there was hope. They whispered among themselves in a language Ethan could not understand, but he could sense their approval. Finally, a surge of light erupted from the core, filling the chamber with warmth and brilliance. Ethan felt his body tremble, energy coursing through him in waves. He held on, pushing himself further, imagining the planet fully restored. And then silence. The light faded, leaving the chamber bathed in gentle glow. Ethan opened his eyes, trembling but smiling. Before him, the city was alive again. Energy flowed smoothly through the buildings. The oceans shimmered with life. The skies above were vibrant with color. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining. "You did it, Ethan. Aurelia is alive." Ethan sank to his knees, exhausted but exhilarated. I can't believe it," he whispered. "It's beautiful." The council members floated closer, their expressions now filled with respect and wonder. "We have underestimated humans," one said softly. "Their gift, it is extraordinary," another nodded. "This one has restored what we could not. Perhaps our people have forgotten what is most important." Ethan looked at them, humbled. "I didn't do it alone. Lyra guided me, and I just did what humans do: imagine, create, and try, even when it seems impossible." Lyra smiled, a warmth radiating from her glow. "Exactly. Humans are special, not because of strength or technology or numbers, but because of courage, imagination, and heart. You reminded us of what we lost." The city began to hum with energy, the streets and buildings glowing softly. Citizens emerged from their homes, looking around with wonder, as if seeing their world for the first time in years. Ethan watched their expressions, feeling a deep sense of pride and humility. He had come from a small town on Earth, a human who fixed machines and dreamed of stars. Now, he had touched the heart of a planet and given hope to an entire civilization. Lyra guided him to a balcony overlooking the city. "Rest, Ethan. You have done more than you realize. Aurelia will heal fully, and its people will remember this day. And they will understand the truth. Humanity is a force unlike any other." Ethan nodded, finally allowing himself to relax. He looked at the glowing city below, the ocean sparkling with renewed energy, and the sky streaked with colors of dawn. For the first time, he truly understood the power of being human. Not strength, not knowledge, not technology, but courage, imagination, and heart. As he sat beside Lyra, the planet alive around them, he felt a deep connection to Aurelia, to Lyra, and to humanity itself. He realized that his life on Earth, ordinary as it had seemed, had prepared him for this moment. Humans had the power to shape the universe in ways others could not, and he had just proven it. Lyra looked at him, her eyes soft. "Ethan, I needed you. Now I understand why. Humans are rare and extraordinary. You have reminded me, reminded all of us, that hope and courage can change worlds." Ethan smiled, exhausted but happy. "I didn't know I could do something like this. But I'm glad I tried, and I'm glad I met you." The planet shimmered beneath them, alive and full of light. Citizens cheered softly, not fully understanding the human who had saved their home, but feeling the energy of life returning. Ethan knew that the story of humans would spread across Aurelia. They would tell tales of courage, of imagination, and of the gift that humanity carried, a gift that could change even the fate of entire worlds. And for Ethan, the adventure was far from over. There were still challenges ahead, new planets to explore, and mysteries of the universe to uncover. But for now, he had fulfilled his purpose. He had saved a world, proved the greatness of humanity, and discovered that even one human could make a difference across the stars. He sat with Lyra, watching the glowing city, knowing that the bond between Earth and Aurelia would last forever. And as the night fell over the planet, Ethan felt a quiet pride. Humanity had been extraordinary all along. The universe had simply been waiting to see it. Ethan Cole stood on the balcony of Aurelia's central city, gazing at the planet he had helped restore. The once fading cities now glimmered with soft light, oceans shimmered in vibrant colors, and the skies danced with streaks of energy like ribbons of hope. The city hummed with life, a gentle melody of energy flowing through buildings and streets. Citizens moved about with curiosity, wonder, and the faintest hint of joy in their eyes, a feeling that had been missing for generations. Lyra stood beside him, her silver eyes glowing brighter than ever. "Aurelia will live," she said softly. "And it is because of you, Ethan, your courage, your imagination, and your humanity. They have restored what was lost." Ethan shook his head, still trying to process everything. "I didn't do it alone. You guided me, Lyra. And it wasn't just me. My people. Humans have a gift. I just learned how to use it." Lyra smiled, a warm glow radiating from her. "Exactly. Humans are special in ways even the universe sometimes forgets. You reminded Aurelia of what hope and courage can do." The city's energy core pulsed softly, glowing in perfect rhythm. Ethan could feel the power through the floor, through the air, through his very being. It was alive, thriving, and perfectly balanced. He realized then that his connection to Aurelia had changed him. He felt larger, not in size, but in understanding. Humanity was not just ordinary life on a small planet. Humans were capable of shaping the universe in ways no one had imagined. Lyra led him to the central chamber, where the energy core of Aurelia hovered, glowing with a soft blue-white light. The core had been unstable when he first arrived, flickering and dying, but now it pulsed steadily, strong and vibrant. Citizens watched from a distance, their expressions filled with awe and gratitude. "You will connect one last time," Lyra said. "This final connection will synchronize your energy with the planet completely. It is safe, but it requires focus and trust." Ethan nodded, feeling the hum of the core beneath him. He placed his hands on the device that had guided him before, and instantly a wave of energy flowed through him. He felt the threads of the planet's life stream into his mind. Cities, oceans, skies, and people, all connected in a delicate web of power. He could sense instability, fading energy, and potential collapse, but also the immense strength that life carried within it. Lyra's voice guided him. Feel the flow, Ethan. You know how? Trust your instincts. Imagine balance. Imagine life thriving. Let your creativity guide the energy. Ethan closed his eyes, letting his mind reach outward. Imagine the planet. Fully alive, cities glowing, oceans sparkling, skies dancing with color, and citizens moving freely with energy coursing through their veins. He visualized balance, harmony, and light spreading across Aurelia. His heartbeat synchronized with the core, and he felt the pulse of life through every part of himself. Hours passed, though time felt different in this state of connection. Ethan adjusted energy flows with his imagination, corrected instability with his intuition, and strengthened weak areas with courage. He felt exhaustion creeping in, but he pushed forward, focusing on hope and determination rather than fear. The council and citizens watched silently, sensing the transformation without fully understanding it. Some touched the energy flowing around the chamber, feeling warmth and life for the first time in decades. The planet's energy pulsed more strongly, brighter than it had in centuries. Aurelia was alive. Finally, a brilliant surge of light erupted from the core, filling the chamber and spilling into the city. Ethan felt his body trembling as energy surged through him one last time. He held on tightly, focusing entirely on the balance and the life of Aurelia. And then, as suddenly as it began, it ended. The core pulsed softly, perfectly synchronized with the planet. Ethan collapsed to his knees, exhausted but smiling. Lyra knelt beside him, her hand glowing gently over his shoulder. You did it, Ethan, she said softly. Aurelia is fully restored. You have saved the planet. Ethan took a deep breath, still feeling the hum of energy through him. I can't believe it. It's alive. Everything's alive again. The council members floated forward, their expressions filled with awe and respect. This human. He has done what we could not for centuries, one said softly. He carried the spark we lost. Another nodded. His people, they are extraordinary. We have much to learn from them. Ethan looked at them humbly. I didn't do it alone. Lyra guided me, and the planet responded to life itself. Humans are capable, yes, but we are not perfect. We just try and we create, and sometimes that is enough. Lyra smiled, her glow brightening. That is exactly what makes humans extraordinary. Your courage, your imagination, your ability to hope, even in the darkest times, that is your gift to the universe. Citizens began to emerge from their homes. Moving closer to Ethan and Lyra, they touched the ground and walls, feeling the energy that had returned. Some whispered in amazement, while others cried softly at the renewal of life around them. Ethan felt a wave of joy he had never experienced before. He had come from a small town on Earth, a human who had dreamed of stars. Now he had restored an entire world. Lyra led him to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. Below, the streets glowed with renewed energy. Citizens walking with curiosity and wonder, the sky streaked with brilliant colors. Ethan, she said softly, I needed you for a reason. Not just to restore energy, but to remind Aurelia that life is about heart, courage, and imagination. Humans carry that spark. Ethan felt a deep warmth in his chest. I never thought I could do something like this. But I'm glad I tried. I'm glad I listened to you. I trusted myself. Lyra's eyes shone softly, and that is why I needed you. Your humanity, your choices, your courage, they saved this planet. You have shown us that even one human can change the course of the universe. The planet pulsed softly beneath them, alive and vibrant. Citizens looked up at the sky, feeling hope and energy they had not known in decades. Ethan realized that Aurelia would remember this day forever, and that humans would be honored across the stars. Lyra turned to him. When your time here is over, you will return to Earth, but Aurelia will always remember you. And I will always remember you, Ethan. You have reminded us all that humanity is rare, precious, and powerful in ways we cannot fully measure. Ethan smiled, exhausted but happy. I will never forget this. I never imagined humans could matter like this. But now I understand. We are more than we ever realized. For hours, they watched the city together, the energy of life flowing through every street, building, and citizen. Ethan felt a deep connection to Aurelia, to Lyra, and to humanity itself. He realized that the universe was wide, vast, and full of challenges, but one human, with heart and courage, could make a difference. As night fell over Aurelia, the skies shimmered with streaks of light, and the cities glowed softly. Ethan felt a quiet pride, a sense of fulfillment unlike anything he had experienced before. He had left Earth a small-town mechanic and stargazer, and now he had restored a world, proven the greatness of humanity, and discovered that courage, imagination, and heart were the most powerful forces in the universe. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder, glowing warmly. Thank you, Ethan, for trusting yourself, for believing, and for reminding us of what is most important. Humanity is extraordinary. Never forget that. Ethan looked at the city below, the oceans sparkling, the skies alive with color, and the citizens filled with hope. I won't forget, and I think I understand now. Humans may be ordinary on Earth, but in the universe we are extraordinary. And maybe, just maybe, we can change more than one world. Lyra smiled, her glow reflecting the renewed energy of Aurelia. Yes, Ethan, and your story will live across the stars. Humans are not small. They are powerful in ways we are only beginning to understand. Together, they watched as the planet healed, citizens exploring, learning, and celebrating quietly. Ethan felt a deep connection to the universe, to his species, and to the infinite possibilities ahead. And in that moment, he knew one truth. Humanity had been extraordinary all along. The universe had simply been waiting to see it. The stars outside shimmered, as if celebrating, a quiet symphony of light across the cosmos. And for Ethan Cole, the human who had trusted himself and his people, the adventure had changed not only a planet but the destiny of a civilization. Aurelia would live, and humanity's spark had touched the stars,